Shalom, and welcome to Hebrew Bible Secrets with your host, Rabbi Beaton. We continue with the book of Mathew, starting at chapter 16. Chapter 16, verse 1. 1. And the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from Shamayim, from heaven. 2. He answered and said to them, When it is evening, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. 3. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and overcast. You can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times? 4. A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of Jonah. And he left them and departed. 5. And when the disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take lechem bread. 6. Then Yeshua said to them, Take heed and be aware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. 7. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have taken no lechem bread. 8. Which when Yeshua perceived, he said to them, O you of little faith, why do you reason among yourselves, because you have brought no lechem bread? 9. Do you not yet understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets you took up? 10. Neither the 7 loaves for the 4,000, and how many baskets you took up? 11. How is it that you do not understand that I spoke it not to you concerning lechem bread, that you should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? 12. Then they understood how that he forbid them, not the lechem of the bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. 13. When Yeshua came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Who do men say that the Son of Man is? 14. And they said, Some say that you are Yehochanan, John, the Immerser, some Eliyahu, Elijah, and others Jeremiah, Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. 15. He said to them, But whom do you say that I am? And Shimon, Kepha, Peter, answered and said, You are the Messiah, the Son of the living Elohim. 17. And Yeshua answered and said to him, Blessed are you, Shimon bar Yonah, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed it to you, but my Av, which is in the Shamayim. 18. And I say also to you, that you are Kepha, Peter, and upon this rock I will build my congregation, and the gates of Sheol shall not prevail against it. 19. And I will give to you the keys of the kingdom of Shamayim, heaven, and whatever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in Shamayim, in heaven, and whatever you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in Shamayim. 20. Then he commanded his disciples that they should tell no man that he was the Messiah. 21. From that time forth began Yeshua to show to his disciples how he must go into Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief Kohanim and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the 3rd day. 22. Then Kepha, Peter, took him and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from you, Rabbi, this shall not be to you. 23. But he turned and said to Kepha, Peter, Get behind me, you Satan. You are an offence to me, for you do not understand the things that be of Elohim, but those that be of men. 24. Then said Yeshua to his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his execution stake and follow me. 25. For whosoever will rescue his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. 26. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? 27. For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Av, his Father, with his Malachim, his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his deeds. 28. Verily I say to you, there be some men standing here who shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. So that ends chapter 16. So let's go and have a look at some of the footnotes in chapter 16. So the first footnote we have is in verse 12. Then they understood how that he forbid them not the lechem, the bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. So let's have a look at this. So one of the doctrines of the Sadducees was that there is no resurrection. The Pharisees equally had some bad doctrines, too lengthy to list here. For instance, one was that you side with the majority of the rabbis, while the Torah taught not to side with the majority decision and to make judgments and to be on the side of mercy. Okay, let's go to the next footnote. So, verse 16, and Shimon, Kepha, Peter, answered and said, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living Elohim. So this revelation is not theological, but of the set-apart spirit. Many people still do not understand or realize this fact. Okay, so the revelation was given to Peter by the Ruach, the set-apart spirit, that Yahushua was the Messiah. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 18. And I say also to you that you are Kepha, Peter, and upon this rock I will rebuild my congregation. So you are Peter. Let's have a look at this. So Kepha means young lion, and Petros in Greek is the word for pebble or a little stone. The Aramaic word for stone or pebble is also Cephas. Okay, so let's go to the next footnote, which is, and upon this rock. Okay, upon this rock. So Yahweh is the rock and not Peter. Peter is not the first pope either, because he was a Jew and Jewish people become rabbis and not popes. Okay, so the next footnote, which is, and upon this rock I will rebuild my congregation. Okay, I will rebuild. Okay, so the Greek word is oikodomiho, which means to rebuild, restore and reconstruct. The Greek translators, by using the word build, showed Yahushua was doing the repair of the breach. The Qahal assembly was built back in Bereshith, Genesis, but due to sinning had to be repaired back to health. If this was something new, then Maaseh Schlichen, Acts 15:16, would make no sense. It says, after this I will return and will rebuild again the tent of David, which is fallen down. You cannot build something new which is fallen down, but you can rebuild it or repair it, which is the view here of Yahushua to Kepha. The prophecy is one taken from the book of Amos 9:11. Okay, so we've got Acts 15 and 16. Let's have a look at Acts 15 and 16. Okay, Acts 15:16. After this I will return and will rebuild again the tent of David, which is fallen down, and I will rebuild again the ruins there, and I will set it up. So we have a footnote for ruins there. So we have here, so the quote from Amos 9:11, Yahweh will rebuild what was fallen down, not start a new religion called Christianity, that has no idea in the faith that Israel was to practice. The Hebrew word binah, to build or to rebuild, has its root in the word ben, for son, to rebuild the sons of Israel. Therefore, bringing both the house of Israel, the 10 tribes, and the house of Judah, 2 tribes, in view, and not some new concocted faith called Christianity, that is devoid of Yahweh's Torah. This tabernacle will be built in Tel Arad and has been found. See Hosea 5:15. Okay, so this is the tabernacle of David we're talking about here, yeah, which has been found in Tel Arad. Okay, so let's have a quick look at Amos 9:11. Okay, Amos 9:11. In that day will I raise up the tent of David that is fallen, and repair the breaches there, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will rebuild it as in the days of old. Okay, so we have a footnote here for tent of David. Okay, so we have here the speciality of the tent of David, 2 Samuel 6:17-19, was that both Yehudim and strangers, Gentiles, were allowed to come freely and worship Yahweh. Even today, in the same manner, Elohim is restoring the breach between the 2 houses of Israel, north and south. Our Messiah will come and restore us as a nation with Torah going out worldwide. Okay, so we also have another footnote, which is, I will rebuild it as in the days of old. So this will occur before the millennial kingdom. King David will also be resurrected. Okay? So that was Amos 9:11. So let's go to the next footnote, which is in verse 19. And I will give to you the keys of the kingdom of Shamayim, of heaven, and whatever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in Shamayim, in heaven. Okay, let's have a look at this. Shamayim. This binding and loosing are to do with the halakhic decisions on earth, things that have been already established in the Shamayim, in heaven. For example, the Sabbath is already established on a Saturday, sunrise to sunset. Therefore, if Kepha, Peter, made an agreement on earth to keep the Sabbath on Saturday, starting at sunrise, then that is established. So the terms used to bind and loose are to allow something or to disallow something. Okay? So the next footnote we have, which is in verse 24, then said Yahushua to his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his execution stake and follow me. Okay, execution stake. Let's have a look at this. So the Greek word stavros, concordinates G4716, does not mean a cross. That meaning has been deliberately inserted and the dictionary meaning altered by the 4th century church. This was done to align with the pagan symbol of the Babylonian cross of Tammuz, the Babylonian deity. Okay, so the Babylonian cross of Tammuz, the Babylonian deity. Okay? Yeshua was hung on a tree on the Mount of Olives. He did carry a patibulum, which is a cross piece that was put on the tree, but it was not the Roman style cross as you see in popular movies. The place on the summit of the Mount of Olives had the Mizkad altar for numbering heads. This is the spot called Golgoleth. Okay, so the next footnote we have is in verse 26. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul? Okay, let's have a look at this word soul. Many men and women run after the pursuits of the world like cricket, boxing, golfing, and their entire life revolves around these pursuits. What good is this if your end result is going to take you to hell? Okay, so we have the next footnote, which is and lose his own soul, or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? So let's have a look at this. We cannot buy an eternal place with even $1 billion of wealth, or 50 billion for that matter. A change of the heart is required, and that comes by repenting before Yahweh, followed by Torah deeds. Okay? So Torah deeds are paramount here, so keeping the commandments is paramount. So the next footnote is in verse 28. Verily I say to you, there be some men standing here who shall not taste of death. So let's have a look at this word, shall not taste of death. This can be understood by the transfiguration in the next chapter, or better still, we would suggest that he was referring to his death and his resurrection. His kingdom starts from that point on, as there were men standing with Yeshua like Peter, not a separate religion, but Torah kingdom. That now ends chapter 16. So I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the other side. Thank you. This is Rabbi Beaton saying thank you for watching, and shalom shalom.